Part 84. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 831. Chapter 831 He became a father. After Wrongly visited the house once, he was also very good. He used various excuses to visit the house, deliver food, and buy things for the children. Every week, he could always find an excuse to come to Chen's house for dinner. They became familiar with each other once and met again. Chen Liangdong and Niu also let nature take its course. Qinwan had many things going on during her third trimester of pregnancy. What made her most anxious was that her hair was falling out like crazy. There was a patch of scalp on the back of her head that turned white, and all her hair fell out. Fortunately, her hair was able to cover it up. Since then, her hair has been falling out like crazy. Afterwards, she became very anxious and felt like she had some disease. The doctor's examination found no major problems, so he could only reassure her that her hair would grow back after giving birth. Qinwan got up early to comb her hair, always suspecting that her hair was going to fall out. "I always dream that I become bald." Wrongly gave Qinwan a wig. "Qinwan, you will die or not? What does it mean to give her a wig?" Wrongly said, "Nowadays, wigs are made very realistic, so it doesn't matter if you lose your hair. Wearing wigs often changes hairstyles." Roll. You are really good at saying auspicious words. Just because of this wig, Wrongly was kicked out by Qinwan. Chen Liangdong and Dr. North couldn't laugh or cry. Qinwan had a bald spot on the back of his head. His hair was not visible at all. There was no need to wear a wig to hide it. Wrongly knew that Qinwan was angry, so he prepared hair growing ointment and specifically asked the doctor if it could be used by pregnant women. Qinwan's face was all green. July and August were the hottest months. Qinwan was in a bad mood and felt uncomfortable all over her body. She suffered from internal heat, insomnia, swelling, and cramps. All kinds of pregnancy symptoms broke out. She had a rather irritable personality. She asked the doctor if she couldn't peel it off early because she really didn't want to get pregnant. Dr. North knew that she had a lot of anger, so he made tea for her to drink every day to clear away the heat and relieve the fire. They could not suffer on her behalf, they could only try to make her as comfortable as possible. Qinwan got angry, and his mouth was full of ulcers, and the corners of his mouth were rotten. He felt heartburn like every day. Even though he was healthy when he checked, the more he suffered, the more irritable he became, creating a vicious cycle. Wrongly would come to her door almost every day to act as a punching bag for her, trying different ways to get her delicious food. No matter how naughty Qinwan was, he would always find a way to satisfy her. Qinwan was woken up by a child in the middle of the night and tormented Wrongly. Neither North nor Chen Liangdong could stand it. Wrongly had no complaints and gained a lot of impression points in front of Chen Liangdong and North. But Qinwan was still born prematurely. The expected date of delivery was originally at the end of October, but in mid-September, Qinwan became frequently uncomfortable, and it turned out that she was born prematurely. Moreover, the child is particularly bad at picking the time. The amniotic water broke at 4 in the morning, which made Chen Liangdong and North turn pale with fright. It hurts, Mom, I should be giving birth soon." Qinwan turned pale in pain. Dr. North helped her wipe away her sweat and asked the guards to prepare the car. Chen Liangdong had already called Nanjing Hospital to ask the doctor to prepare. "The first baby will not be born so quickly, so bear with it." She didn't even have time to put away the delivery bag. Qinwan burst into tears from the pain. "I feel, they are not taking the usual path." Dr. North didn't bother to clean up this time. The couple hurriedly sent Qinwan to the hospital. They waited until Qinwan entered the delivery room before they remembered to inform Wrongly. At around 5 o'clock in the morning, Wrongly was woken up by a phone call and couldn't care less. After washing up, he hurried to the hospital. Ji-sun had a meeting with Europe and didn't sleep all night, so he happened to accompany him to the hospital. Chin-won is impatient, even when giving birth. It only takes half an hour for Huan to go to Nanjing Hospital. By the time Rong Li arrives, her baby will be ready. Rong Li. Ji-sun, hey, this is too fast. Chin-won's pregnancy has been too hard for the past half month, and she is on the verge of irritability every day. She always feels that she will collapse if she cannot hold on any longer. She has thought countless times about why she is pregnant, why she has a baby, and whether she can turn back time. I don't want to give birth. But when she actually gave birth to the child, she felt that she was full of energy and could have another baby. She had a natural birth, and the twins were not too big, weighing about 5 pounds each. Chin-won was full of energy, showing no signs of maternal weakness. After unloading, she felt relaxed. Before Rong Li could fully appreciate his father's anxiety outside the delivery room, he heard Chin-won's hearty laughter. He looks so handsome. She turned her head to see Rong Li and called him over, come over quickly and see your son, he's so good looking. Rong Li looked at Chin-won on the hospital bed. Her voice sounded energetic, but her face was not that good. Her lips were white and her hair was wet with sweat. She looked very weak. Rong Li's heart ached and she walked away with a smile. Come here and follow Chin-won's wishes to see the children. The two sons are identical twins. They look almost exactly the same. They opened their eyes when they were born. They have bright eyes, deep double eyelids and a high nose bridge. Although they were born 1 month premature, their hair is very thick and sideways. The face is incomparably beautiful. It is rare to see such a high nose bridge in newborn babies. The nurse knew that Rong Li was the father and gave him the baby. Rong Li accompanied Chin to class in the evening and knew how to hold the baby. In fact, when Chin-won became pregnant, when he felt the baby's fetal movement for the first time, he had no intention of becoming a father. It felt like, when the child was sleeping in his arms, he really had a dreamy feeling of being a father. He is a father. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 832. Chapter 832 Twins. Although the child was born prematurely, he was very healthy and cried loudly. Everyone couldn't put it down and held him in turns. Chen Liangdong named the child. The eldest child was named Rong Bolin, and the second child was named Rong Beijiao. Chin-won went to the confinement center the day after she gave birth. Rong Li contacted the confinement center early and provided 9-to-1 service, including confinement nanny, chef, nurse, etc. The confinement center was built along the river. The environment is also very good, Chin-won can get the best care, and there are also dedicated nurses to help her with postpartum recovery. After she arrived at the confinement center and was able to move around freely, relatives and friends started to visit her and the children one after another. Rong Li would come over to see Chin-won and the children every day after get off work. The third generation of the Chen family was blessed with a pair of twins. Chen Lianju was very happy, but within 2 days of his happiness, after hearing the name of the child, and then hearing Chen Liangdong say that the children were all given to Rong Li, he suddenly thought, what do you mean? Little Cherry has worked so hard, give all the children you gave birth to others. Little Cherry decided by herself. Chen Liangdong knew that Chen Lianju would be angry, so he kept telling him until he couldn't hide it. Chen Lianju was really furious. Chen Liangdong had to talk it out, and the matter was over. Although Chen Lianju was angry, he could only accept it. After all, they were the children of Chin-won and Rong Li. They had made a decision. Even though the elders were uncomfortable, they could only accept it. Ji Huan and Zhang Junlin also came more frequently. Zhang Junlin's greeting gifts were relatively simple and rude. In addition to some necessities for the children, he directly gave gold locks and bank cards and a huge sum of money. The child lacks everything. He really doesn't know what to give, so he can only give money. The child was still young. He only ate and slept. Zhang Junlin also tried to hold the child. He had a very average affinity for soft creatures. Qin Wan even asked jokingly, "Master, if you are envious, you can have two." As soon as these words were said, the child started crying, and the demonic sound pierced his ears. Qin Wan's twins were not angel babies. They were particularly violent when they cried. Zhang Junlin felt sad. "I'm not very envious either. The child is small, and raising it to adulthood feels like a big project. He still prefers a cheap son like Gu Ziyu, who can grow up on his own without too much care." "Have you really decided to give it all to Rong Li?" "Give him," Qin Wan blinked, "give him the inheritance of Black Eagle's property." Ji Sun laughed and said, "There's nothing wrong with me. I'm worried that I haven't found an heir and I'll give birth to a few more." "Don't be too wishful thinking." Qin Wan was afraid that if she got pregnant once, it would take 10 years, and she would never get pregnant again. "Ji Huan looks like a liar selling fake and shoddy products. Don't you want a daughter? Our next generation will not have daughters." "I favor boys over girls." Qin Wan thanked Buletin Min she had no obsession with having a daughter at all. Zhang Junlin teased the child and had to admit that good-looking babies are really pleasing to the eye. He and Ji Sun had also seen other people's babies when they walked over, and still felt that Qin Wan's family was the prettiest. "One thing is that the children look like Rong Li's mitosis. You are really involved in loneliness." Zhang Junlin finally couldn't help but tell the truth. The twin sons looked too much like Rong Li. Chen Lianzhu, a person who hates his child's father so much, can't say that the child is like Qin Wan and not like Rong Li. Eyes, bridge of nose, and outline are all like Rong Li. He is simply the baby version of Rong Li. "I'm also wondering, why don't they look like me at all?" Qin Wan said depressedly. "Don't all male babies look like their mothers? It's good to look like Rong Li. He is handsome and has long legs. He will be a charming girl in the future." Ji Sun poked the child's fleshy cheek, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it. "Ha!" Qin Wan and Zhang Junlin both shouted, and Qin Wan said, "As long as they look alike, don't have similar temperaments." The child was very irritable when he was still in the womb, and his temper seemed to be 10% worse. Qin Wan felt tired and said, "Forget it, the child must develop freely and cannot be too demanding." When Rong Li came over after work, Ji Sun and Zhang Junlin had already left. Although the baby is being taken care of by a confinement nanny, Rong Li still tries to participate as much as possible. He is very good at changing the baby's diapers, and when he holds the baby, they don't make so much noise. Although the two children were just born, their personalities are somewhat rudimentary. The eldest brother is lively, has a loud voice, and has a bad temper. The most obvious thing is that he has a bad temper when drinking milk and will get into trouble if he doesn't eat enough. The second son is not very noisy, but Qin Wan described him as a dog that bites but doesn't bark and has extraordinary strength. Big. "I feel like, children are like you, I am really involved in loneliness." Rong Li looked at the boss's lively appearance, raised his eyebrows and said, "That's not sure." Moi. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 833. Chapter 833. Let yourself go. Qin Wan is an energetic mother. Her weight during pregnancy was basically the weight of the baby and amniotic fluid. Half a month after giving birth, her body returned to the weight before giving birth. She disliked her lack of abdominal muscles and was eager to get pregnant. Rehabilitation was stopped by the confinement nanny and the doctor. Chinwan was bored and could only do simple stretching. The confinement nanny took good care of the child. In addition to having to get up frequently to breastfeed, she slept well, and the child also made trouble. She is not the kind of mother who takes care of her children meticulously. When communicating with others, the confinement sister-in-law commented that our mother is not worried about her children at all, as long as she can support them, her requirements are very low. Relatively speaking, Rong Li is more nervous about the child than she is. He is also very diligent in coming to the confinement center and is better at changing diapers than Chinwan. In addition to breastfeeding, Chinwan is responsible for teasing the child on a whim. Chen Liangdong and North would come to visit their mother and son every other day. The youngest son and the eldest grandson were the treasures in the heart of the old man. This sentence was absolutely correct. Chen Liangdong and North both liked the fat grandson very much and visited them every day. After teasing her for a long time, Chinwan clearly felt that she had fallen out of favor. Chen Liangdong and his wife were also focused on their children. Chinwan was not that pretentious and could not help but complain to Rong Li, "I feel like I have completely fallen out of favor after giving birth to a child." Xiao Jinghe can't help but play with his younger brother when he comes to the hospital. Jinghe has always had a good relationship with her. Songyin is a good girl. She never speaks ill of the Chen family. She mostly speaks good things. Even to her scumbag father, she never said an unpleasant word. She only said that they were in love back then. When she found out she was pregnant after the breakup, she was reluctant to abort the child. It was not because Chen Yang had failed her. Therefore, Jinghe likes the Chen family very much. At first, he and Chen Yang can only be regarded as strangers, and they are not familiar with each other. However, Chen Yang is a who loves fun and adventure. Jinghe was brought up by Songyin and is a bit old-fashioned. The two have naturally different personalities. Jinghe was easily attracted to Chen Yang. Chen Yang would often take him to play football, tennis, skiing, etc. Now the father and son get along like brothers. Jinghe and Chinwan naturally have a good relationship. The half-grown young man likes Chinwan, an aunt who is refreshing and generous and can play with him. But since he had younger brothers, Jinghe's attention has been attracted by his younger brothers. Chinwan said, "What fun is there for little ones like this? They only eat and sleep. Why does everyone have to tease them when they come?" Rong Li didn't understand her difference, but he paid special attention to Chinwan's emotions. "Maybe it's cute," Rong Li said. "You think it's cute too? Don't you think it's cute?" "Chinwan. How is it so cute? Besides eating, crying and sleeping, where is the cuteness?" A few days before the child was born, she was quite new, but now she is not new at all. She feels like a cow and has no sense of existence except for feeding. Chinwan has been in confinement for less than a month, and neither the doctor nor the confinement nanny recommended that she go out. She could only move around in the confinement center, and she only ate confinement meals, which were light soup with little water. Chinwan couldn't bear it after staying there for 20 days. "I'll take you out for a walk tonight," Rong Li promised softly, reluctant to bear her loss. Chinwan's eyes lit up. "Really?" Of course, Rong Li felt sorry for Chinwan's 10-month pregnancy. She was not a girl who liked to complain. She had not been able to sleep well or eat well in the late stages of her pregnancy. She would occasionally complain to him, but she never really complained. For the sake of her child's health and growth, she also started to avoid eating and drinking. The doctor said that the baby was growing too fast, and he was afraid that she would suffer during the birth, so she ate less. She always had a big appetite and could not get enough to eat in the later stages of pregnancy. She was also afraid that the baby would really grow too big, so she would eat only 7 cents every time. "I'm full, and sometimes I'm so hungry that my heart burns." Such a lively and active person, when she was pregnant for 10 months, had to get up within 2 hours to feed her baby. She was tired and had no freedom. She had a strong taste and loved to eat spicy food. For the sake of her child, she couldn't eat it. If she hadn't been pregnant with his child, she wouldn't have had to suffer this. The confinement nurse and the doctor will not agree. Let sneak out wrongly is not a person who follows the rules. You express the milk and put it in the refrigerator. We can go out for 4 hours. Chinwan was overjoyed, and wrongly persuaded Yuseo behind her back. The 3-month-old sisters-in-law take care of the children, and one of them is the mother of Secretary Rong Li, so Rong Li is also very relieved. Chinwan squeezed the milk, put it in the refrigerator, and changed into casual clothes. Rong Li took her to hide from the doctor, secretly went downstairs, and took her out for a ride. The confinement period lasted for 40 days, and Chinwan had only been in confinement for 20 days. Rong Li was still afraid that she would be blown by the wind. The weather in October was neither cold nor hot, and the autumn wind was a bit strong, so Rong Li gave her a woolen hat. "It's too hot to wear this hat," Chinwan protested. Rong Li insisted, "You can't go out without wearing it." Chinwan took a deep breath and was able to bend and stretch. Rong Li put it on her. The woolen hat made her feel like winter when she put it on. It looked very warm. Chinwan had a small face and looked particularly cute wearing the woolen hat. Chinwan was tall, but she looked particularly petite in front of Rong Li, who was 1.9 meters tall. Rong Li put on his hat and wanted to adjust it for her. Chinwan hurriedly ran into the car and said, "Come on, hurry up, or you will be discovered if you don't leave." The wind was cool at night, and Chinwan also felt hot. She opened the window and blew in the wind for a while, but her face still felt hot. "It's so hot wearing this kind of hat." Rong Li said, "Is it very hot?" "It's 15 degrees at night, so it shouldn't be too hot wearing a hat." Chinwan. She was so hot that she was about to burn. But she didn't refute. In order to go out for food, Chinwan deliberately skipped the confinement meal. Rong Li took her to the restaurant where Zhang Junlin often went. This restaurant served Cantonese cuisine, and it was a Cantonese restaurant that Chinwan rarely liked. Zhang Junlin had a private room in this restaurant, which was always empty and was only used to serve him. Chinwan asked for the private room without any politeness and ordered all the dishes she wanted to eat. "Order so many. I'm so hungry that I could eat a pig." Chinwan saw that he kept looking down at his phone, frowned and asked, "What are you doing?" Rong Li raised his phone and said, "I'm checking the dishes you just ordered to see if there are any foods that pregnant women can't eat." Chinwan was startled. "Are you so careful?" End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 834. Chapter 834 The Magical Man. Chinwan never cared about what she couldn't eat. Anyway, in the confinement center, she would eat whatever she was given. But she wanted to eat ice cream, but the confinement nanny rejected it, so she knew she couldn't eat ice cream. After Rong Li checked the information, he crossed out Chinwan's order of curry crab and seafood pot. He told her not to add chili peppers to all the dishes. He also crossed out Chinwan's fried bacon and smoothies and juices. I ordered an extra dish of fish maw chicken for her. You can't eat crabs when you're pregnant, and you can't eat them after giving birth. Chinwan had not eaten crabs a few times since she was pregnant. The time Rong Li bought king crabs, she was allowed to eat 3 crab legs. Cannot eat? When can we eat it? You can eat after confinement. Rong Li was not sure, and he couldn't ask Dr. North directly. Be patient for a while, and eat warm tonic foods during this period. After delivery, both qi and blood will be weak, so you need to take good care of it. Keep. I feel as strong as an ox. You can't compare me with ordinary mothers. No matter how strong you are like an ox, you only weigh more than 90 pounds. Take good care of yourself and you won't get sick. Rong Li used his trump card. If you don't obey me, I won't take you out next time. Qinwan was furious and wanted to confront him by slamming the table, but Rong Li said, "You can't make fun of your body." Qinwan's anger was extinguished inexplicably. If he said something about thinking about the child, Qinwan's anger might start to burn up. But every word he said was for her body. During this period, what she heard the most was, "For the sake of the child, what should you eat, what should be eaten to release milk, and whether she likes it or not, just give it to her. She has to eat it, otherwise she will be criticized." She was particularly irritated when she heard the sentence, "For the sake of the child, you must be patient and don't be willful." She felt that she was a tool and could only eat milk. So, Qinwan was very unhappy when Rong Li first asked about what pregnant women should not eat. "Aren't you afraid that your sons will have no milk to eat?" Qinwan asked unhappily. Rong Li was confused. "Didn't we buy a lot of milk? If you don't have milk, they can drink milk and they won't be hungry." Oh. Rong Li understood. Although he had a bad temper, he was very attentive. He also came to the confinement center frequently. He could vaguely feel Qinwan's impatience and displeasure. There were few items in the confinement meal that Qinwan she loves to eat, but her orders were rejected several times because it was not good for her children. She was afraid that she would have problems eating and the children would have problems drinking milk. Qinwan was tolerant at first, but after hearing too much, he became very unhappy, especially since Chen Liangdong and North also said it intentionally or unintentionally. In fact, everyone did not mean it, but after hearing too much, Qinwan instinctively rejected it. As she complained, "Everyone is doing it for the children. No one cares whether she likes to eat or not. You want to eat ice cream during confinement, and you have weak qi and blood after delivery. How dare they let you eat it? In fact, it is for your health." Maybe everyone thinks that mothers are willing to tolerate anything for the sake of their children, give in, and give up. You have also become this kind of mother. They will not calm down your emotions carefully. They will only say that you can compromise for the sake of the child. The purpose of letting you eat confinement meals is to eliminate lochia and recover as soon as possible. You can't eat spicy food, but it's for your health. Children can drink water milk or formula milk. Who stipulates that they must drink breast milk? Rong Li only hoped that Qinwan could relax and said, "Wait until you are born. If you don't want to breastfeed, just stop breastfeeding. From now on, you can eat whatever you like." "May I?" "Of course," Rong Li chuckled and said, "Why not? Both the doctor and my mother said I need to feed him for half a year." "Feed her as long as you want." Rong Li knew that she was anxious to recover, didn't want to be trapped by the child, and wanted to flourish in her career. He never stopped. "Qinwan, how are you happy? Just come." Then after the first month of confinement, weaning. "Okay," Rong Li thought for a while, "but you still have to eat a little bit, and you have to follow the doctor's advice. You can't eat and drink too much. Wait until you are fully recovered." Qinwan's eyes were bright and she blurted out, "Rong Li, you are really a magical man." Rong Li. Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 835. Chapter 835, A long-planned encounter. Rong Li has always been unsure whether Qinwan is praising him or hurting him, or whether he thinks he controls too much. Qinwan is unrestrained and uninhibited and doesn't like to be controlled. Too much control seems a bit daddy, so he tried his best. Take control, leave her alone and give her enough freedom. He didn't want Qinwan to think that he was too restrictive. Qinwan was in a very good mood. Although she couldn't eat some of the dishes or drink alcohol, it satisfied her stomach and her mood. After the meal, Qinwan didn't want to go back yet, so Rong Li took her to play in the mall. Everything to play was available. Qinwan wanted to watch a movie. Wrongly thought that if anything happened, his confinement sister-in-law would call him, so he took Chin-won to the cinema. There have been a lot of movies released recently, including romance movies, action movies, and Hollywood blockbusters. Chin-won and Wrongly don't like love movies about youth pain, nor do they like literary and artistic movies, so they chose Hollywood popcorn movies. This point is when the cinema is most popular, and the attendance rate is high. The two temporary votes are not very good. The position in the corner of the last row is lucky. Fortunately, it is a 3D movie. Although the position is a little off, the impact is not big. The two of them had just bought the movie and the movie was about to start. Chin-won wanted to drink milk tea. Wrongly went to queue and bought her a cup of hot milk tea. Although she was a little disgusted with the idea of hot milk tea, she happily accepted it. Chin-won secretly sent messages to Gu Si-I. Chin-won, the more I admire Wrongly, the more I like him. Gu Si-I, because he is handsome? Chin-won, that's not true. The third master is so handsome, but I have never liked him. Gu Si-I, that's true. What did he do that you liked? Chin-won, he is quite gentle. Gu Si-I. Sorry, are you sure this word affects Wrongly? Chin-won, it's possible that I'm still a pregnant woman and haven't given birth yet, so he's too embarrassed to be too irritable. Gu Si-I, that makes sense. It would be outrageous if he had a bad temper and yelled at you when you were pregnant. You haven't given birth yet, so even if you provoke him, he won't be unhappy. Chin-won, what you said makes sense. After all, I gave birth to two big fat boys for him, and gave him custody. He couldn't even burst into tears of gratitude. Even if he was unhappy, he could only hold it in. After Chin-won and Gu Si-I chatted for a while, their originally high-spirited mood cooled down a bit. The two checked in and entered the cinema. Wrongly sat in the corner. He bought 2 cups of milk tea. The two looked like an ordinary couple on a date. Although the atmosphere is not as sweet as when others are in love, it is still familiar. This is the second time we watch a movie together, Wrongly said. Chin-won. It's a good thing he didn't mention it. When he mentioned it, Chin-won inevitably remembered the accident after they last watched a movie, and they had a pair of twins. However, she was the only one who remembered this. Chin-won felt that the air conditioning in the cinema was not enough, or maybe she was too angry and felt extremely hot all day long. I forgot. Chin-won drank milk tea silently. I haven't forgotten, Wrongly said. The movie hasn't started yet. There are advertisements on the big screen, and the light is half dark. Chin-won turned to look at him. Wrongly noticed her gaze and looked over. After their eyes met, Chin-won hurriedly looked away. Nervously took a long sip of milk tea, and the pearl almost got stuck in his throat. Can we watch movies together in the future? Wrongly asked. Chin-won bit the straw and said vaguely, okay. Wrongly curled his lips and said, okay. The young couple sitting in the front row secretly bit their ears. These two people know each other on a blind date, right? His girlfriend felt it was rude and nudged him with her elbow to signal him not to talk behind his back. Chin-won and Wrongly also quieted down. The movie started. Chin-won was a very focused person, but it was difficult to focus on when it comes to movies. She inevitably thinks about the movie she went to watch last Christmas. The fate is really wonderful. If she hadn't bought a ticket to watch a movie on a whim that day, she wouldn't have met Wrongly. If she hadn't met Wrongly, they wouldn't be fighting, they wouldn't go to the bar, and Wrongly wouldn't drink. If she was drunk, they wouldn't have a room together for a while. If she wasn't pregnant, she and Wrongly would be on a parallel line. Even if Wrongly liked her a little at that time, he would not be tied to her. She is really busy. She has to carry out tasks, graduate from graduate school, and travel around the world. She cannot settle down in one place. After graduation, she will have no personal time when she is assigned a job. Her life and work are all over the place. Be obedient to assignments. She won't stay in one place for a long time. Because of the secret mission, she might not be seen for half a year, or even for a year. Even if Rong Li has a little affection for her, it will be interrupted by work and life, and the affection needs to be cultivated. They don't have time to cultivate the affection. This ambiguous affection cannot withstand the distance, and will eventually dissipate, and he will meet someone more exciting. People start a new relationship, and a few years later, she may also meet a pretty good man, fall in love, get married, and have children. She will not have any ties with him. When they meet each other many years later, they may suddenly realize that they once had some ambiguous feelings, but their fate has not been renewed. In an accident, she became pregnant. Therefore, when she calmed down and settled down, she could cultivate a relationship with one person in one place for a long time. Because she had a child, she would often look for him. In the past few months of her pregnancy, Rong Li did his best and was always available. It was all appropriate. Although Qin Wan couldn't tell whether it was for the children or for her, she was the beneficiary. She changed her prejudices from the bottom of her heart and re-examined a person. This is also an extremely rare thing for her. It was only after she had a child that she fell in love with someone. Qin Wan felt that her life was also quite outrageous. But so what? Let nature take its course. She still enjoys this kind of time. The movie is very common, a very typical popcorn movie. There is a literary scene in the middle. Qin Wan didn't like this kind of sensational scene, so he asked Rong Li, "Do you often watch movies alone?" "Mostly with Ji Xian, he likes to watch movies," Rong Li said. "Ji Sun likes to watch movies. Ji Xian likes to watch movies, but rarely watches them with his master. Could it be that he watches them all with Rong Li? This is also outrageous, okay." When he was young, he was particularly addicted to movies for a while. He would always watch them alone. I would accompany him when I had nothing to do. Gradually, he developed a habit, Rong Li said. He can watch movies 4 times a week. Whenever there is a new movie, I will watch it. Both Mr. San and I once misunderstood whether he wanted to be a director. Then if he doesn't go to see it, you will go to see it alone. Rong Li was silent for a long time. "Yeah. It's strange, everyone doesn't like to watch movies alone." Rong Li was silent and didn't answer. Qin Wan didn't like watching movies alone. She had forgotten why she suddenly bought a movie ticket on a whim. Qin Wan raised his head and asked Gu Si. "Qin Wan, there are more than 300 movie theaters in a city. What is the probability that 2 people can buy one movie theater?" "Gu Si, if you live in a community, the probability is quite high. Maybe you can buy movies near your home." Qin Wan thought to herself that the cinema was so far away from her home and Universal Cinema, with more than 100 cinemas in between. A city is so big and has so many movie theaters, but I just bought the same one. The probability is really lower than winning the lottery. Qin Wan looked at Rong Li in confusion. There was a movie theater at Universal. If he wanted to watch a movie alone, Universal could watch it. Rong Li was a man who did not like to socialize and could not go out of Universal for a year. "What's wrong?" Rong Li asked sideways. Qin Wan smiled and said, "It's nothing. Meetings that are too coincidental are all planned for a long time." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 836. Chapter 836, Special Techniques for Catching Dolls. At the end of the movie, Qin Wan felt very uncomfortable. The breast engorgement was very uncomfortable and the pain was excruciating. At the confinement center, she usually fed once every 2 hours. Apart from being bitten by the baby, she had never experienced the pain of breast engorgement. Qinwan and Rongli said to go to the bathroom and hurried to the bathroom. She should have brought a breast pump. It was too uncomfortable to have breast milk. Seeing that she hadn't come back for 5 minutes, Rongli also came out to look for her. In the women's restroom of the movie theater, Rongli waited quietly. In other movie theaters, many of her boyfriends were waiting outside after the movie. Rongli leaned against the wall anxiously. Searching for something on her phone, Qinwan entered the bathroom for nearly 10 minutes. After their movie show ended, a bunch of people came to the bathroom. Rongli took a few steps back. The girls queued up to the door. Rongli patiently after waiting for another 5 minutes, Qinwan finally came out, her face a little pale. Rongli took off his coat and hung it on his hand. When Qinwan came over, he put it on her. It's getting colder at night, so dress warmly. Oh. The matter of breast enlargement was very embarrassing, and she didn't want Rongli to know about it. She thought that Rongli didn't understand either, so she said randomly, I ate too much for dinner and I'm upset. Want to buy some medicine? That's not the case. Qinwan had experienced a wave of breast engorgement, and her body always felt sore and uncomfortable, but she didn't want to go back. She always felt that returning to the confinement center was like going to jail. Rongli saw the claw machine outside the cinema and asked Qinwan, do you want to catch the doll? I've never caught one. She has a short temper and has no patience for catching dolls. Go give it a try. Okay. Qinwan felt a little more relaxed. Fortunately, Rongli didn't ask her in detail and looked as usual, not treating her as a troublesome mother. Rongli is 1.9 meters tall, and her coat is draped around Qinwan, making her very thin. She lies in front of the mermaid claw machine, trying to catch the mermaid, so Rongli exchanges 50 coins. Qinwan tried to catch the doll 10 times in one breath, but all failed. Rongli looked at her with his arms crossed. When Qinwan caught the doll, his expression was particularly vivid. He was surprised when he caught it, excited when the doll moved, shocked and unhappy when it fell. Every expression was vivid, and Rongli looked at her intently. 5 years ago, he would never have imagined that one day he and Qinwan would watch a movie and catch dolls. This is too difficult to catch. There is something wrong with the design, Qinwan concluded. I won't catch it. Want a mermaid? I can't catch it. Rongli inserted the coin, moved the handle, pressed down accurately, and grabbed the mermaid's head. Then he moved it slowly and accurately dropped it into the groove. Qinwan was stunned. Why is it so easy for you to catch? Is this a female mermaid? It's up to others to order the food. Be patient, I catch you too fast every time. Catch another one. Rongli caught another one for her, with 100% accuracy. It felt like it had a bug. Qinwan didn't believe in evil, so he changed a machine. There were more than 10 claw machines outside the cinema, with different dolls. Rongli was not 100%. With 100% accuracy and 20 coins, she caught 8 dolls. Qinwan was already very impressed. After all, she had never caught any of them. We went out to play and brought gifts for the babies. Bringing a doll for my son. Isn't it okay? Boys can play with dolls too. Qinwan thought that today's outing would be awkward after her became uncomfortable, but she didn't expect to have such a pleasant experience. The two of them brought 8 babies back home. None of the confinement sisters contacted them, so they must have had nothing to do. But who knew that when they returned to the confinement center, Chen Liangdong and North were actually there. Dad, Mom, why are you here? Qinwan's scalp was numb. The confinement sisters were all very guilty. After all, no one dared to remind Chen Liangdong and North to come back early in front of them. North said, "You've only been in confinement for a few days and you went out to enjoy the breeze. I'm in good health. Chinwan wrapped Rong Li's coat. I'm still wearing a coat. It's very warm. I'm not cold at all. I'm wearing a hat and there's no wind. I just went to see a movie and I wasn't there. Running outdoors. She passed by her parents and ran towards the babies with the baby. Dabeo, Erbeo, mommy brought you a gift, aren't you happy? The two babies giggled and were very lively when they heard their mother's voice. Rong Li felt a little guilty. When Chen Liangdong looked over, he promised, I won't do this again. Chen Liangdong said, save it. Chen Liangdong got along relatively well with him during this period, just like an ordinary husband-in-law. Who can control her bad temper? I don't count on you. Except for Zhang Junlin, no one could suppress him. Qinwan pretended not to hear anything. Their whole family was here, and Rong Li was also very measured. Uncle Chen, Auntie, I'll leave first and come back tomorrow. You are so busy, they have nothing to do at the confinement center, so they don't have to come every day. I know. Rong Li and Qinwan nodded as a greeting and turned to leave. Qinwan waited until he was far away before she remembered that she didn't give him her coat. When she took off her coat, she found that her were swollen and her chest was covered with stains. If it hadn't been blocked by the suit jacket, she would have developed cancer from embarrassment. Qinwan was startled and hurriedly wrapping her coat tightly and pretending that nothing happened. Chen Liangdong and North focused their attention on the baby. She took the clothes and went into the bathroom to pack them away. Qinwan held his coat and smelled it. Except for the smell of woody perfume, it was the scent of her milk. She touched her nose awkwardly. Did Rong Li see everything? Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 837. Chapter 837, The eldest brother has fallen out of favor. Qinwan felt much better after a day off. Looking at the twins, she felt that they were the cutest babies in the world. The babies were still small, and apart from sleeping, they only cried and fed. The three confinement sisters are all of a certain age, and they only talk to Qinwan about childcare and not about other things. Apart from playing with the children, what Qinwan looks forward to most every day is the time when Rong Li comes to visit them. Amazing. She never thought that such a day would come to her. Qinwan gave birth to a child in a very low-key manner. Because she was unmarried, Chen Liangdong did not advertise it widely. She was low-key to avoid gossip. Qinwan did not want to be too high-profile. When the child was 1 month old, she only greeted relatives and friends at the Chen family's old house. Let's eat together, Qinwan shows up with the children in his arms and then comes back. The relationship between Chen Lianzhu and Black Eagle was once very bad, so Rong Li was naturally not on the invitation list, even if he was the biological father of the child. Chen Lianzhu asked reluctantly, do you really want to give the child to Rong Li? If little Cherry is too busy, we can all help take care of it. Chen Liangdong said, brother, the matter has been decided. Just give up. I can't bear to let it go. But it's better for the children to follow their parents. After all, we are separated by generations. Rong Li is not a domineering person. He can see the children whenever he wants. The custody rights were given to Rong Li, and they are still the grandsons of the Chen family. Chen Lianzhu didn't know this truth, so he could only sigh. Qinwan stayed in the confinement center for 40 days before returning home. She was well rested and her face was rosy. She was weaned as soon as she was out of confinement. No one tried to persuade her to do anything, so Rong Li asked Rong Li to take the twins back to Huan to raise them. Rong Li had already bought a lot of milk when Qinwan said he was weaning. The formula is very close to breast milk and the nutrition is balanced. Milk are prepared for each age group, so at least he doesn't have to worry about the child's food rations. The confinement nanny who takes care of the children also comes to the global center. Lu Ziwen lives on the top floor of Huangkaiu, half of the space is occupied by Ji-sun's office, and Rong Li's space is all downstairs. Ji-sun is particularly fond of children. After the twins were sent to Huangkaiu, he also moved downstairs. 3 confinement sisters, a chef, a Filipino maid, 2 children, plus Ji-sun and Rong Li, the originally cold home suddenly became lively. After Rong Li took the child back, his family could. After hearing the news, he wanted to see the children, but Rong Li refused. He had attended classes with Qinwan and went to the confinement center every day. In addition, the confinement nanny was experienced, and the new father was very stable and did not in a hurry. Qinwan had to go through the entry procedures after confinement and needed training. He had little time to take care of the children. Rong Li took videos of the children every day and posted them in Qinwan's family group. Chen Liangdong and North were very measured. Although they missed their grandson very much, they also avoided suspicion and did not visit frequently. Ji-sun's circle of friends has become a special area for showing off babies. Gu Ziyu complained, "You are so exaggerated. You make it seem like you gave birth to the child. I'm really annoyed by people who post pictures of their babies, and they post them 3 times a day. They also have to record a video while drinking milk. Is it necessary? Is it necessary?" Lu Ziwen said, "Don't worry about him, he is just jealous." "Why?" "Because no one exposed him when he was a child." Ji-sun, poor baby. Ji Huan would like to go back in time and see Gu Ziyu as a baby. He must be very cute. The chubby little baby is the most lovable. Because he has twins, Ji Huan doesn't stick to Zhang Junlin in his free time. Zhang Junlin rarely experienced the feeling of falling out of favor. This experience is very fresh. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 838. Chapter 838. I have 2 sons. Although Lu Ziwen complained about Gu Ziyu, he actually felt sorry for him. The way he felt sorry for Gu Ziyu was to take Gu Ziyu and Gu Si out on weekends, to the surrounding areas, to climb mountains, go to the sea, play ball, etc. Gu Ziyu was a little flattered that his parents, who only cared about the world of 2 people after marriage, actually still think of him. Gu Ziyu's workaholic nature has long been exposed. Most weekends, he has no time and devotes himself to work. Gu Si feels that Ziyu works too hard. Young people who don't work hard will end up miserable. I want to eliminate this problem from the root. "Son, you don't have to work so hard," Lu Ziwen sighed. "Travel more and work less. If you are just a salted fish, we won't despise you." Gu Ziyu was smiling at others. "It's enough for me to be a salted fish. I want to be a koi that leaps over the dragon gate." Gu Si. Because Rong Li wanted to be a nanny, a lot of work was left to Lu Ziwen. Lu Ziwen's hope of taking Gu Si to travel every weekend was dashed. "You're too far apart, why don't you ask me to earn some money for you?" Ji Huan cried out, "Third master, I was wronged. I work conscientiously every day and I haven't gone on dates recently." "You don't date because the child is still fresh," Lu Ziwen mocked. "It's not easy. Zhang Junlin has fallen out of favor with you. Is the 7-year itch here?" Ji-sun had a subtle look on his face. "If you think about it seriously, it's not even 7 years yet. Your secret love years were eaten by dogs, and it's not even 7 years. The days of unrequited love don't count." Ji Xian said confidently, "We have only been together for 2 years, and we are still in love." Rong Li couldn't stand hearing it anymore. "It's so shameless." The baby seemed to understand what his father was saying and giggled. Ji-sun picked up Dabeo with one hand and said, "Dabeo, what are you enjoying? Are you laughing so happily?" Dabeo couldn't understand what the humans were saying, but it didn't stop him from jumping up and down happily. His round and bright eyes smiled like crescent moons at Ji-sun, and Ji-sun felt strange just looking at him. Wrongly never expected that Ji-sun would like the milk doll so much one day. Chinwon has been training for half a month, but she really doesn't care about the children at all. She has never visited them once. Has she forgotten that she has two sons? Ji-sun didn't expect Chinwon to be so careless and leave it to Wrongly just ignore it. She was trained secretly, and her mobile phone was confiscated. She only has her phone on for 2 hours a day, and occasionally makes videos with Wrongly, mainly to see the baby. Chinwon has to train for half a month, and Wrongly doesn't even know her specific location. Then you have no chance to chase her. Lu Ziwen said, "That's not important, we already have children." That's different. Chinwon doesn't like him yet, and is very prejudiced against him. It's not enough to have children. Ji-sun was worried about how Wrongly was going to pursue him. Wrongly's face turned dark when he was hit in a sore spot. Hurry up and go on a date. Take care of yourself. Be careful that you also fall out of favor with Jang Junlin. That's impossible. Ji-sun is still very confident. If he falls out of favor, that doesn't exist. Lu Ziwen watched Wrongly changing diapers skillfully and said with a chuckle, Wrongly can find another way to please Chinwon with some superb baby-raising skills. Wrongly. The mouths of these two people are more damaged than the other. Can you get out? Wrongly said angrily, you have to remind me that I am single every day, right? It doesn't matter. Although I am single, I have two sons. Do you have them? Ji-sun. Lu Ziwen. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 839. Chapter 839 Family Portrait. After Chinwon's secret training, she breathed a long sigh of relief when she left the base. The sun was just right. She couldn't wait to call Wrongly. Wrongly was in a meeting. He was surprised to see Chinwon's call and raised his hand to stop the meeting. Pushed the door out of the conference room. What's wrong? My training is over, is it convenient for you? I'm going to see the baby. Wrongly raised his hand and glanced at his watch, the corners of his lips raised. You can come whenever is convenient for you. Okay, I'll be there in 2 hours. She drove back from the suburbs, a 2-hour drive. Today's training was over and she didn't even have time to go home. She just wanted to see the baby. She wanted to die. She rarely missed someone so much, especially at night when she was in pain from breastfeeding. Misses her baby very much, and daily videos cannot satisfy her at all. Wrongly picked her up in the underground parking lot. Chinwon parked in a specific parking space and got out of the car gallantly. She was dressed very neatly in a black leather jacket and jeans, like a female agent in a movie. She has lost a lot of weight in a month. She is thinner than before she was pregnant. She is also tanned. Her appearance is sharp due to her thinness, and her temperament is even more unique. Are you going to Africa? Wrongly asked. Is it 10? Chinwon was pregnant and had no exposure to the sun during her confinement period. She had fair and beautiful skin. I tanned it specially. I am the only one with thin skin and tender flesh in the whole camp. They are not convinced when they look at me. Judge a book by its appearance. Don't you also judge people by their appearance? When do I judge a book by its appearance? Then why did you keep Xiaomin by your side back then and still think you could instigate her to rebel? Wrongly. Why did you mention Xiaomin again? As soon as he fell silent, Chinwon stopped and asked, has your son gained weight? Fat. It wasn't Chinwon's first time coming to Universal, but it was his first time coming in this capacity. It felt strange and a bit awkward, as if he had intruded into someone else's territory. It can be seen that when she saw her sons, she forgot all her awkwardness and sensitivity. Dabeo, Erbeo, do you miss your mother? Chinwan kissed the milky faces of his sons. I have gained so much weight that I can hardly recognize them. Babies change quickly and look the same every day. Chinwan feels that when she left, the children did not look like this. If they met on the street, she might not be able to recognize them. They look more like you. Chinwan looked at his sons, then at Rongli, and commented, you've gained weight. Rongli. What the kind of adjective is this? But I have to say that when the three of them stand together, there is absolutely no mistaking them. At first glance, they are the biological father and son. After Chinwan arrived, the confinement sisters-in-law were very sensible and did not disturb them. Chinwan gently touched the faces of his sons and was very grateful. Rongli, you raised them well. She was absent for a month as soon as she was born. She was not a competent mother. Fortunately, she was self-aware. They were raised well in the mother's womb. They are disease-free and easy to take care of. They are very healthy. Rongli sat next to her and said with a chuckle, we didn't take any family photos when the children were 1 month old. You just happened to be back. Come on, let's take a family photo together. Chinwan was startled. He raised his head and met Rongli's hot gaze. He nodded subconsciously, okay. They wanted to take a family photo. This month, Rongli took many photos with his children, but none of them included Chinwan. He had long wanted to wait for Chinwan to come back and take a photo together. Chinwan suddenly realized after being reminded that, she had a small family of her own. She, Rongli. Their babies. Moi. End of this chapter. Shocking. She came back with a smaller version of the boss. Author, and knows. Chapter 840. Chapter 840. Mom knows how to beat people up. After Chinwan's secret training, she had a 3-day vacation. She hadn't seen the baby for a month and couldn't put it down. Dabeo was woken up by her kiss as soon as he fell asleep. He giggled. It was no stranger to see his mother. Mother and son seemed to be born with a certain understanding. Dabeo had a temper. He is not very good. He cries loudly, cries when he is hungry, and becomes anxious when he is not full. He does not like to be teased. Chinwan teases him, but he does not cry or make trouble. He smiles very much and is very considerate. Chinwan concluded, Dabeo seems to like me more than Erbeo. Rongli didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They don't understand anything yet, so if you feed them, they will become mothers. Erbeo is sleepy and untouchable. Dabeo just likes me and can recognize me. Chinwan didn't care what Rongli said, he had no sense at all. You only have 3 days of vacation, do you want to live here? Rongli suggested. Chinwan was slightly startled and asked hesitantly, is it convenient? Convenient, Rongli explained, fearing that she would feel uncomfortable. I've been busy with work these past 2 days, so I don't go upstairs very often. Chinwan thought to himself, you wouldn't avoid me specifically, but there's no need. Okay, then I'll stay here and go home later to get some change of clothes. You don't have to run up and down, there are women's clothes downstairs, you can buy whatever you want, let them come up and try it on for you. If you like it, buy it. The first to 8th floors of Global are shopping malls with a full range of categories. It is the largest luxury shopping mall in City A. I haven't been home for a month, and I have to have a meal with my parents. Chinwan poked Dabeo's cheek. Baby, do you want to go back to your grandpa's house with your mother? Rongli suddenly remembered, yes, Chinwan can take the babies home to live, and just bring the confinement nanny there. They don't have to live in Huanwan. Why didn't he think of this? Chinwan did want to take the baby back home, but he had no intention of staying at home. If it's just one baby, it's not a big problem, but with 2 babies, it takes 2 months to take care of a nanny. The children's things are very complicated, and it's troublesome to bring them around, and they can't fit in the house. Chen Liangdong was prepared to be single for the rest of his life, so when choosing a family home, he chose the smallest villa, leaving the larger villa buildings to his colleagues with a larger population. It originally had 4 rooms, but 2 of them have been converted into study rooms. It wouldn't be too crowded for a family of 3, but it wouldn't be suitable for them with their baby and confinement nanny. If you still have work, don't worry about me. When Erbeo wakes up, I will take them home and come back after dinner, Qinwan said. Rongli was relieved when he heard her arrangement. After having a baby, it was impossible to be alone with Qinwan. He originally wanted to stay with Qinwan for a while, after all, he hadn't seen her for a month. But Qinwan's thoughts were all on the baby, so Rongli was inevitably a little disappointed. After Rongli left, Qinwan drank the juice squeezed by her confinement sister and relaxed. Rongli's presence made her inexplicably nervous, and she didn't dare to look into his eyes. With her heart as clear as a mirror, the confinement sister-in-law talked to Qinwan about the baby with a smile, and also exaggerated that Rongli was steady and a very competent nanny. If the baby woke up at night and was noisy and had trouble sleeping, Rongli would personally comfort him, especially Patience. Qinwan lowered her head and chuckled. Looking at the babies who looked exactly like Rongli, she couldn't help but think about it. When she first met Rongli, she complained that this man was married with children. It was definitely a widowed marriage, and he was prone to domestic violence at every turn. My wife, I absolutely don't care about the children's uncle. Who knew, it was actually the opposite. It can be seen from this that people's first impression may not be accurate. The second baby finally woke up. With the help of her confinement sister-in-law, Qinwan took the 2 babies home. After Chen Liangdong and North knew that she was going to take the baby home, they told Chen Lianju that they would have dinner together as a family in the evening. Erbeo was sleepy and fell asleep when he got in the car. Dabeo looked at the scenery curiously with his skeletal eyes and babbling, which was particularly cute. Qinwan liked to tease him. Dabeo got anxious when he was teased and would grab Qinwan's fingers. It's quite big. Qinwan was overjoyed and a little worried about Erbeo. Does he usually sleep so much? Yes, the second baby sleeps a lot. Some children like to sleep, and some children like to be lively. We have all taken the children for physical examinations, and there is nothing wrong. The confinement sisters are very experienced and have taken care of many children. Taking care of children is better than new parents are much more appropriate. Chen Lianju and North were waiting for them outside. They came over to hold the baby as soon as the car stopped. Both of them were smiling happily. The children lived in Universal and Qinwan was not around, so Chen Liangdong went over to see them twice. Chen Liangdong avoided suspicion and it was inconvenient to go there frequently. North made a few more trips than he did, and both missed their grandchildren. Why are Chiao crying? Chen Liangdong hugged the crying Erbeo and coaxed him. The baby was woken up in his sleep and cried so hard that his big tears fell like pearls. Chen Liangdong hugged and coaxed him for a long time. Erbeo fell asleep on his shoulder, and Dabeo was held by North, jumping up and down happily. The family entered the house with a smile, and Chen Lianju's family also came. As soon as Jinghe came in, he looked for his brothers. He also brought gifts to his brothers, a doll for each of them. The family is very lively when there is a baby, and the elders like to tease the baby. The eldest grandson is the treasure of the old man. Chen Lianju and Chen Liangdong were also filled with emotion. A few years ago, the 2 families were deserted when they got together, but now they have Jinghe and 2 grandsons, and the population is booming. Chen Lianju asked his confinement sister-in-law to help take a family portrait. Where did little Cherry choose? Chen Lianju asked while teasing the baby. Qinwan said, I have decided to go to the southern war zone. The south is nice and the weather is nice. Chen Lianju didn't ask much. Qinwan's future had been decided long ago. She was much more ambitious than Chen Yang. After Chen Liangdong retired, the Chen family looked at Qin Wan. Although Chen Lianja did not form a good in-law, Chen Lianja felt a little regretful, but now he has looked past it. Children and grandchildren will have their own blessings. Qin Wan is so successful, and with the support of Zhang Junlin, he and Gu Ziu are not siblings, but better than siblings. Even if she is a girl, her future will not be bad. The eldest aunt said, after working, I have less time to spend with my children. Rong Li takes care of them very well, I don't worry at all, Qin Wan said with a smile, I will come back to see them as soon as I have a holiday. Don't even think about what kind of vacation you can get by going to the grassroots level, Chen Yang said, when the child turns 2 years old, you may only see him a few times, and the child will no longer be close to you. They dare, Qin Wan threatened with her fist, Mom knows how to beat people up. Dabeo didn't understand and chuckled. End of this chapter.